We shuffle into busy diners, drive-thrus, and all-night family chains before the coffee fully wakes us. Pancake stacks glide off griddles, eggs flip in purring skillets, and the air smells like reliable morning comfort. Yet the menu rarely shows what happens behind the pass. Powdered eggs rehydrated an hour before dawn, syrup blends stretched with corn glucose, griddles seasoned more by yesterday's bacon grease than fresh oil. Some chains par-cook omelets in distant commissaries, while others microwave biscuit batter in bags stamped heat to 165 DGF. It all arrives under a dusting of confectioner's sugar that hides a week of shortcuts. If breakfast is your day's baseline, this next list might change where you sit. If you want your first bite to stay clean, stay with me, and subscribe for more quiet truths hiding in your morning menu. Number 1. IHOP. Step into an IHOP just after sunrise, and the dining room feels like a friendly airport lounge. Fluorescent blue walls, laminated menus, the faint clink of mugs. Servers glide between booths loaded with maple decoys and squeeze bottles of fruit topping. The signature scent is butter and batter, a reliable invitation that signals a nationally franchised morning sanctuary. Guests trust the chain because portions are big, refills are bottomless, and birthday pancakes arrive with real candles. The menu promises fresh cracked eggs and never-frozen batter, and bright photo spreads show omelets bursting with vegetables that look hand-cut seconds ago. Kids color placemats while plates arrive in under 10 minutes, quietly reinforcing the belief that speed equals freshness. Price lands comfortably under brunch bistros, so families equate the savings with the same comfort grandma's kitchen once guaranteed. But the kitchen line hides an efficiency script few customers imagine. Omelets here start as pasteurized liquid egg poured from plastic bags, thawed overnight, not shells cracked to order. Corporate prep guides instruct cooks to blend that liquid with powdered pancake mix for extra fluff and color, a trick that stretches volume while masking the sulfur note dehydrated eggs often carry. Pancakes themselves arrive par-cooked from regional commissaries, frozen, and rethermalized on a well-seasoned griddle so the surface browns fast while the core simply finishes steaming. Even the strawberry compote is a shelf-stable pouch thickened with modified cornstarch to survive months in dry storage. None of this is unsafe, but each shortcut chips away at texture and nutrition. Liquid egg loses natural lutein and choline during ultra-pasteurization. Frozen pancakes shed delicate butter volatiles that make fresh batter smell like a fairground. By the time they reach your table, the breakfast reads hearty yet lands heavy, an edible jet lag that can leave you yawning before noon. Over the weeks, regular diners can notice a quiet mid-morning slump traced to that hidden sugar load in the syrup and batter. It's the culinary equivalent of a morning playlist compressed to low bitrate MP3, still recognizable, but every bright cymbal ring flattened into muffled hiss. You get the song, not the sparkle. If you can't resist a late-night pancake run, ask for shell eggs to order. Most stores keep a case for vegan avoidance allergy flags, even if it slows the grill. Swap syrup for the tiny sealed maple pitcher, and you'll skip the high fructose blend by the pot. Or take a pass altogether and schedule Sunday brunch at a local spot that still cracks eggs on a flat top you can see. The extra wait time is really a front row seat to freshness. Number 2. McDonald's drive-thru at dawn, and the parking lot feels like a city waking. Brake lights glow red, exhaust drifts in the chill, and the aroma of sizzling sausage seeps from a side vent. Customers trust the Golden Arches for 3 things: speed, consistency, and nostalgia. The Egg McMuffin tastes the same whether you're in Kansas City or Kuala Lumpur. The price hovers just under the guilt threshold, and every order arrives in one hand-warming bag. But consistency hides shortcuts most people never glimpse. Those freshly cracked eggs now ride into the kitchen as refrigerated liquid pumped from a cardboard box, portioned into ring molds, then flash steamed under a clamshell lid to mimic a sunny side texture. The iconic folded eggs in biscuits tell a longer tale. They're pre-cooked in distant commissaries, frozen in stacks, and shipped across distribution hubs. Within the store, they're reheated on the same metal tray that holds sausage, absorbing yesterday's grease while thawing in minutes. Even the hotcakes originate as par-baked sheets sliced into circles, their syrupy sweetness owed to added dextrose that caramelizes faster than real sugar. Ultra-processed efficiency comes at a cost. Pasteurization and freeze-thaw cycles shave off natural choline and lutein, nutrients that protect brain and eye health. Added sodium phosphate keeps eggs flexible under heat lamps, but it also bumps a single sandwich to nearly half your recommended salt before sunrise. Behind the counter, holding bins sit under heat lamps set at 185 degrees. A breakfast sandwich can linger there for up to 20 minutes before it meets your takeout sleeve, long enough for the yolk matrix to tighten and the muffin edges to sponge up steam. By then, the marketing photo no longer matches the wilting reality inside the wrapper. The bacon in a big breakfast isn't griddled to order either. It arrives pre-cooked, vacuum-sealed, and reheated in bursts of microwave steam that turn fat streaks translucent yet leave strips rubbery. Paired with a par-fried hash brown, the saturated fat tally rivals a lunchtime cheeseburger before the sun clears the horizon. It's like buying an instant coffee version of breakfast. Recognizable aroma, thinner sole. You feel the difference around 10 o'clock when the starch and salt spike fades, leaving a hollow hunger that sends you back for hash browns or, more likely, another round of caffeine. If McDonald's is your only early morning option, customize the order. Ask for round eggs. Crew members must crack whole eggs from the shell, and swap the processed cheese for cheddar if your location stocks it. Pair with a cup of plain oatmeal so the fiber slows that sodium rush. You'll wait an extra minute, but those 60 seconds buy you far more real food than the clock suggests. Number 3. Dunkin'. Walk into just before the commuter rush, and the counter glows orange and pink, stage lit by warming lamps. Staff line up breakfast sandwiches beside espresso pumps, and the smell of toasting bagels mingles with powdered sugar drifting off the donut rack. The place feels engineered for people who still have one hand on their car keys, promising breakfast faster than a traffic light. Customers trust Dunkin' because every item lands in under 3 minutes, and the price sits comfortably between gas station coffee and brunch cafes. Photo boards show a cracked pepper fried egg spilling from a glossy croissant, and freshly baked bagels spin behind glass. Paired with a latte that tastes the same in any zip code, the ritual feels as steady as sunrise. But convenience starts with frozen blocks, not dawn cracking. Those eggs arrive as pre-cooked patties stacked 50 to a case, flash frozen at a central plant with potassium lactate and citric acid to hold color through multiple reheats. Donuts are par-fried off-site, shipped in cardboard tubs, and revived at midnight in a convection oven that finishes the crust but never refreshes yesterday's oil. Prep sheets show each sandwich blasted in a TurboChef oven. 500-degree air mixed with microwaves for 40 seconds, lightning fast, but brutal on delicate proteins. The blast drives out albumin, so the white turns rubbery and the yolk chalks before it meets cheese made mostly of milk protein concentrate and starch. Efficiency wins, yet the real egg texture disappears in the roar. That freeze-thaw-superheat trilogy wipes out up to 30% of lysine, the amino acid your body relies on to turn caffeine into steady energy. Salt and dextrose patch the flavor gaps, lifting one sandwich to 900 milligrams of sodium, nearly half the daily limit before 8 a.m. Mid-morning, commuters feel a fog they blame on long meetings when it is really a sodium-spiked insulin slump. It's like streaming your favorite song at the lowest bit rate. The melody remains, but every bright symbol dissolves into static by the time it reaches your earbuds. Dunkin's breakfast delivers the outline, not the nuance. If this stop saves your schedule, order a multi-grain bagel plain, then add real nut butter at the office. You skip the frozen egg and sodium-heavy cheese while gaining fiber that steadies blood sugar. Bring a reusable mug. Fresh drip coffee spends 0 seconds in the TurboChef, and the refill discount trims both cost and processing. At 7 a.m., and the room hums with steamed milk and soft laptop taps. Croissant sandwiches gleam under heat lamps by the register, while baristas in green aprons chant drink orders like verse. Overhead, grinders whir in steady rhythm, and the bittersweet scent of espresso cloaks the early yawns. Commuters in pressed shirts shuffle forward, eyes half open, drawn by the glow of pastry cases. The board lists impossible sausage, spinach and feta wrap, and sous vide egg bites, framing breakfast as craft fare for the health-minded traveler. Customers trust the chain because it flaunts buzzwords, cage-free, protein-rich, plant-based, yet still serves in under 3 minutes. Price hovers above drive-through but below sit-down brunch, so the purchase feels like a small indulgence, not fast food. Almond milk lattes and stevia packets reinforce a wellness halo. The cappuccino foam smells genuine, the parchment sleeves look artisanal, and the playlist implies thoughtful sourcing. The craft story ends in a freezer. Every egg bite, wrap, and sandwich is pre-cooked from a central factory, then sits in the store's back room for weeks. Despite the menu's sous vide promise, the bites are simply baked in silicone molds, frozen and vacuum sealed for logistics. At rush hour, baristas slide sealed pouches into turbo ovens that blast 500-degree air mixed with microwaves, reheating breakfast in 50 seconds but erasing most fresh character. That double cook-freeze-reheat cycle denatures fragile albumin and drains lysine, an amino acid tied to focus, by roughly a quarter. Meanwhile, salt climbs. One bacon Gouda sandwich packs 830 milligrams grams, more than 2 small fries, and 8 grams of added sugar hide in the brioche roll. Fat rendered during the first bake re-solidifies, so the second hit turns cheese waxy and the croissant spongy. It's like ordering a pour-over and receiving instant coffee in a porcelain mug. Ritual intact, soul diluted, flavor thinned by travel and time. If this stop is welded to your commute, keep the coffee, ditch the heat lamp, pair a plain oatmeal cup, hydrated on site, with nuts from your desk, or choose the cold protein box instead of a sandwich. Bring your own chopped fruit to fold in if you need sweetness. The fiber and antioxidants beat the syrup packet. Both skip the blast oven, cut sodium in half, and deliver real texture you can still taste at lunchtime. Number 5. Burger drive-thru at sunrise, and the kitchen vents still breathe out a faint charbroil aroma left over from last night's Whoppers. Inside, foil-wrapped croissantwich stack behind the counter, edges glistening as if the pastries were split and buttered moments ago. The speaker crackles your order, and a minute later a warm bag lands in your lap, smelling of maple and smoky bacon. On a highway schedule, that speed feels heroic. Real breakfast rescued from the clutches of gas station pastry. Customers trust Burger King's mornings for the same reason they trust its burgers. The chain sells the story of flame and freshness. The croissantwich looks heftier than a fast food muffin, with visible layers that promise European flakiness. And commercials talk up fresh cracked eggs, pair it with hash brown bites that stay crispy through the first red light, and the meal reads like an upgrade from competitors' limp biscuits. Price stays low enough to feel casual, yet just high enough to imply quality. Behind the counter, the flame grill naps while microwaves work overtime. Those fresh eggs arrive as frozen hockey pucks of pre-cooked patty. They thaw overnight in plastic pans, then finish steaming under a clamshell press that also reheats sausage. The croissant halves aren't bakery fare. They ship par-baked from a factory, loaded with palm shortening, so layers survive months of freezer time. Even the French toast sticks were fried weeks earlier, flash frozen, and dropped into a countertop fryer only long enough to rebrown the crust. The entire system values portion symmetry over anything resembling farm-to-table freshness. Each croissantwich carries close to 1,000 milligrams of sodium and 7 grams of saturated fat, thanks in part to margarine brushed on at the factory to mimic butter aroma. Potassium sorbate and calcium propionate keep the pastry soft after repeated reheats, but they leave a faintly metallic aftertaste and can trigger mild digestive rebellion in sensitive diners. By mid-morning, the salt and starch surge fades, sending blood sugar sliding and focusing with it. Regular patrons often blame the slump on weak office coffee, never suspecting the breakfast biscuit's chemistry set. It's like passing off last night's retoasted croissant as bakery fresh, flaky on the surface, fatigued at the core. If Burger King is your only dawn option, request a shell egg on the line. Most stores keep a small tray for special orders, and cooks must crack it to order. Swap the croissant for the smaller English muffin sandwich, cut the French toast sticks altogether, and you'll save enough sodium and fat to keep the morning upright rather than on autopilot. Number 6. Taco Bell. Pull up to a Taco Bell drive-thru at dawn, and purple neon still bleeds from the sign, advertising AM crunch wraps like a late-night encore. Inside, the line cooks fold tortillas in choreographed circles, sliding hexagons into clamshell presses that hiss steam into the halogen glow. The menu promises fluffy eggs, crispy hash browns, and warm salsa tucked in one handheld bundle. For commuters who missed the alarm, it feels thrilling. Dinner flavors repurposed for sunrise, ready before the traffic report ends. Trust grows from expectation inversion. Taco Bell seems honest about indulgence. Nobody walks in expecting granola. And the novelty of breakfast tacos suggests fresher prep than frozen sandwiches elsewhere. The crunch wrap's crunchy interior and oozing cheese appear built to order, and the price undercuts every coffeehouse pastry by a full $1. Yet the tortilla hides an assembly line. Liquid eggs arrive in 5-pound bags seasoned with anti-foaming agents so they pour smoothly onto a flat top. Cooks scramble one huge batch an hour before opening, then hold it in stainless pans, stewing over steam tables. Each extra 10 minutes drops moisture, leaving pebbly curds that need cheese sauce to feel creamy again. The hash brown patty inside isn't griddled on site. It ships par-fried and frozen, reheated in a countertop fryer whose oil just cooked last night's nacho chips, lending a faint cumin echo to breakfast. Sauces carry their own compromises. The creamy jalapeno drizzle lists more thickeners than peppers, while the red salsa is a rehydrated concentrate pumped from plastic pouches. Both are loaded with sodium benzoate and maltodextrin to survive unrefrigerated storage, tipping one crunch wrap to 1,150 milligrams of salt, half a day's limit before sunrise. Add a Cinnabon Delight and sugar jumps to 40 grams, equal to a can of cola. Picture reheating chili over and over until the spices blur. That's the egg tray by 10 a.m. Texture devolves into soft crumbles clinging to tortilla glue. The first bites taste bold, but halfway through the hexagon flavor plateaus into salty mush, leaving a thirst that outlasts the caffeine in your Baja Blast. If the siren song of queso at dawn is unavoidable, ask for fresco style. Staff will swap sauces for tomato pico, dropping fat and artificial stabilizers. Pair a black coffee refill with a side of beans instead of Cinnabon, and you'll cut sugar by 2/3 while keeping the south of the border swing that made you roll up in the first place. Those tweaks won't turn Taco Bell into a farmer's market, but they'll let you enjoy the crunch and spice without fatigue that can shadow the rest of your morning commute later. Number 7. Panera Bread Walk. Into a Panera Bread just after school drop-off, and the cafe glows like a daylight lounge. Soft jazz, free Wi-Fi, glass cases lined with glossy soufflés, cinnamon crunch bagels, and coffee cups big enough to double as travel mugs. Sunlight spills across reclaimed wood tables, while a corner wall lists origin stories for the beans, and a fireplace video flickers on the LCD, turning quick breakfast into a mini retreat for remote workers and stroller brigades alike. The whole scene frames breakfast as wholesome and artisan, a gentle bridge between a home kitchen and a corporate lobby. Guests trust the brand for its health halo, calorie boards at eye level, antibiotic-free ham in the sandwich line, and a farm-style logo that hints at field-fresh produce. Compared with drive-thru biscuits, an avocado egg white sandwich sounds downright physician-approved. Parents imagine granola bar levels of sugar, office workers picture farm eggs cracked behind the counter, and nobody expects ingredient lists to read like laboratory extracts. Seasonal strawberry smoothies reinforce the impression of farm stand freshness, even though the blend pours from a concentrate bag. Yet almost nothing on that breakfast board is cooked on site. Soufflé crusts, bagels, and pastries arrive par-baked from a factory in chilled crates, thaw overnight, and finish in high-heat turbo ovens that brown crusts but never replicate the steam of slow fermentation. Dough is formulated with conditioners like Daytem and ascorbic acid to guarantee identical rise in every state. Even the scrambled egg blend pumps from plastic cartons fortified with gum stabilizers so it can sit 12 hours on a warming well. That factory shortcut nudges nutrition off course. Independent lab checks have found the ham and cheese soufflé carrying 850 milligrams of sodium, more than a fast food burger, while the maple walnut oatmeal hides 22 grams of added sugar thanks to flavored concentrates stirred in before shipping. Pasteurization saps lutein in the egg mix, and flash freeze thaw dulls the volatile oils that make fresh bread smell alive. One caramel latte pushes breakfast sugar to dessert territory before 9 a.m., despite the cafe's clean ingredients pledge and marketing shots of dewy berries. Think of it like buying a vase of silk wildflowers. The color scheme is perfect, but the fragrance is painted on. Panera's breakfast looks artisanal because the finished bake happens in view, yet the soul departed at the factory loading dock. If Panera is your meeting spot, grab a plain bagel still warm, pair it with real butter pats, and skip the soufflé case. Ask the barista to microwave 2 shelled cage-free eggs. They keep them for allergen orders, then top with tomato slices from the salad line. You'll wait 3 extra minutes, but you'll cut sodium in half and taste grains, not preservatives. At the end of a rushed morning, breakfast is often less about flavor than it is about timing, distance, and habit. Each restaurant on this list leans on hidden shortcuts, frozen eggs, rebaked pastries, reheated meats, to keep prices steady and service swift. None of these meals are inherently harmful. They're simply engineered to survive distribution chains and drive-through windows rather than honor the freshness you imagine when you picture sunrise on a farm. Knowing that Gap lets you decide when speed is worth the sacrifice, and when a few extra minutes or a different stop returns real texture, vitamins, and satisfaction. Your first bite sets the tone for the hours ahead. The more clearly you see the work that happens before it hits the wrapper, the more power you hold over how your day begins. Choose smarter mornings, your energy will notice.